Hey, what's going on?
My dad.
It's your boy
and we're like, yeah, exactly. Everything's never cheat on your mom. We know that. Like, come on, Jeremy's a house. There's no way that Jeremy's a bad person who would cheat on his wife. I just refuse to believe it. There's no way. So my friend goes. I remember talking about how you had a great time last night. From what he told us, his dad immediately turns pale. The worst news he's ever heard in his entire life. He just heard that Dunkin' Donuts is no longer going to be serving donuts. It's the level of DEFCON 1 alertness. Absolute. It's like, hey, you got a wrong text about having a great time last night. Isn't that funny? And you haven't done anything. You'll laugh and be like, oh, that's weird. But when you turn white as a ghost, you go, huh? That he saw a text from a number that could have been a wrong number. Like, obviously it sounds stupid. So we decided that we need to get some proof. And if we find out he's not cheating, then great. No one gets hurt. No one's feelings are hurt. But we have to know for sure what's going on. So we decided the best way to do this is to get into the dad's iCloud account, his Apple ID. Because we know we're not going to get into his phone because he's not stupid and he's not going to give us his phone password and we don't have his phone anymore. So instead of, him like weaseling around his dad while he's sleeping and getting his thumbprint for the Touch ID, we decided the best way to do this is just going to be to sign into his Apple ID and read the messages, because Apple ID, syncs messages for those of you guys who don't know. And if you don't know that and your parents have your Apple ID, well, they're reading every text message you have, so you might want to delete the incriminating evidence, all right, guys? However, they all had different Apple IDs, so we convinced him to ask his dad if he can have the Apple ID password because he needs to link it for a school project or some BS excuse, and the dad gives us the Apple ID password. Parents are kind of tech stupid. Like, I don't know what it is about parents, they buy all this technology, but they don't really know how to use it. Like, Dad definitely did not know that we could spy on his text messages if he gives us the password to his Apple ID account. But regardless, he gives us the password text messages, and the number starts popping up more and more frequently with really shady mess of people where you're just like meeting up for the first time. They definitely know each other, but they're not being overt. Like, they're not being like, last night when we cheated on your wife, it was like, hey, I had a great time last night. Oh, remember that one time? Like, it definitely could be friends. It's a weird way to text your friends. I would never text my friend, hey man, had a good time last night, winky face heart emoji. But hey, maybe he's weird with his friends. I don't really know how this operates. But regardless, we're like, all right, well, Friday night, we know where they're eating dinner, we can just go see what's up. And he's like, yeah, I like that idea. Well, where they're eating dinner is a very, very fancy place. Definitely not a normal place to hang out with your friends, but his dad does own a business, so maybe he's trying to make a business deal. We're not really sure. So we decided the best way to go is undercover. And when I mean fancy, it's definitely like you gotta wear a tie. It is a tie type of place. You're not just rolling in with a t-shirt and jeans on. So me and my boys, we get our nice clothes on and we decide to go undercover at this restaurant. I felt like a super spy, all right? You ever been like, we gotta figure out the truth while wearing a suit? That is some next level badassery. You feel like the coolest guy in the universe. I felt like James Bond, but discount edition, like Goodwill James Bond. Really just out here trying to figure out the truth, figure out if my friend's dad really was. Oh. So worse. We've definitely tried our best to avoid this situation. At this point, like, he's got to handle it for himself. We can't do it all. So whatever he says, yeah, that's fine. And about 2 hours later, we get a call. He's like, hey, can I spend the night at somebody's house? And he doesn't spend the night at my house. He spends the night at another friend's house. But we all headed over there and just kind of talked to him and let him get it off his chest. Dad came home. His mom called him out. His dad denied it, said his son was lying, said that we were all lying. Got shown the photographic evidence, immediately shut down and said, I need you guys to get out of the house. I just need some time to think. And at that point, his mom kind of knew, obviously, that her husband was cheating on her, because you don't kick people out of the house when you're not guilty of cheating on them when you get shown evidence. And as much as I would like to say it has a happy ending, it was actually a very long, drawn-out divorce process, which did not make anybody happy. Him and his mom obviously got because that's something you go through together that definitely strengthens your bond with somebody, and the ending was not too great. Like, it definitely was not a happy situation, but it was a pretty crazy situation. Like, the entire process took about a week and a half, but finding out your dad's cheating on your mom, getting evidence, and then telling her about it, and having to go through all that is super hard. I still talk to him to this day. He does not watch my videos. He does not like YouTube. But he is a good guy, and I know it was really hard for him to go through. And before anybody freaks out and says, like, I'm stealing too much information, I asked him if it was okay if I talked about it, and he said yes. I just know he won't watch the video. So, yeah, on that note, guys, that's going to do it for the story. Hopefully you enjoyed in a weird way. You know, I feel weird saying that, but if you did, I would appreciate you liking and commenting. And, yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow with another video. Don't get anyone pregnant. If you do, make sure they're hot. I'm out. Deuces.
Okay, now I just need some wood for my house. Wood plank. 2 sticks. Put that down. Do that.
With moderate to severe ulcerative colitis or Crohn's disease, your plans can change at any time. Your head wants to do one thing, but your gut says, not today. GI-focused Entyvio is made for this. Entyvio acts specifically in the GI tract to prevent an excess of white blood cells from entering and causing damaging inflammation. Entyvio has helped many patients achieve long-term relief and remission. It may help you too. Infusion and serious allergic reactions can happen during or after treatment. Entyvio may increase risk of infection, which can be serious. Although unlikely, a risk of PM...
What's going on, guys? It's your boy Scrub here, back again with another video. Hope you guys are having a great day. I know I am. And today I've got a subscriber story that was sent in that is probably going to make a lot of you cringe and like read with anger a little bit. It's about this dude whose little brother broke his PC and then got away with it by playing the I'm a little kid, I don't know what I did card, even though he definitely did. And yeah, you know, before we get into it, be sure to press the like button. Otherwise, no joke, no scam whatsoever. Your PC is going to meet an unfortunate end, and you don't want that to happen. And if you watch this on your phone, then your phone's going to meet an unfortunate end, and you don't want that to happen. So, yeah, without further ado, let's get into it. Alright, so it's no secret that, like, little kids, you know, they're very obsessed with anything that their cooler older brother, older cousin kind of does. You know, I remember when I was younger, my older cousin would play PlayStation 2, and I would sit and watch him for hours and beg to play. You know, there's nothing wrong with that. That's pretty standard. And the person who sent this in, they have a PC, they play a lot of Valorant, and their little brother loves to kind of sit behind them and watch them play. I guess, you know, it's something that they'll do for hours and hours. And of course, as little kids do, he begs to play. You know, let me play, and every time his brother's like, no, because his brother is only 4 years old, and he doesn't want his sticky fingers on the mouse. You know, he has his own iPad, and, like, his iPad is covered in that gross sticky film that, like, only little kid fingers can put on an iPad, and he just didn't want that on his stuff, so he keeps saying no, and his brother's mad about it, and one day he takes his computer out into the backyard to blow. What's going on, guys? It's your boy Scrub here, back again with another video. Hope you guys are having a great day. I know I am, and as you guys can tell from the title, I've got a pretty good video for y'all today. A few weeks ago, I talked about the neighbor feud. I guess it was like 2 months now.
I guess my friend did. I don't know who did.
And since then, things have escalated quite a bit between my neighbor and my other neighbor, you know. And basically, it ended up that my neighbor's help had the $70,000 car ended up getting vandalized pretty bad, and I wonder who it was. Whoever it was definitely thought they were going to get away with it, forgot that they live in a time where security cameras exist. And, you know, that's just the way the ball bounces. Regardless, I figured it would be a fantastic little update for y'all. So before we get into it, be sure to press the like button. Otherwise, no joke, no scam. Next person that moves into your neighborhood
got me some games, and I only got one game that day. And it was Don't Touch Anything. It's actually a pretty fun game, but still.
So basically every weekday she would be out there yelling about it, and you know, it just was what it was. I could basically time my watch to when I said that last time. My neighbor wouldn't stop, you know, she could hear the engine in the middle of cooking dinner, doing heart surgery, and did that, or whatever it was. She would stop everything, go out and scream in the car. He would be gone, she would just yell at the air for a little bit. She kind of looked like, I don't know how many of you guys have seen the Simpsons movie, you know, when the old man's just like, Eepa! Eepa! You know, screaming that for no reason while just staring at the sky. That's kind of what she was looking like. And it was annoying, but at the same time, it was also pretty entertaining. Like, sure, she would just yell for a minute after he would leave, but whatever. I found it entertaining. I just thought crazy people are funny. I don't know if she was trying to, like, curse the car, you know, do some, like, some Harry Potter curse stuff. I don't know, but she was yelling something. Our neighbor was kind of annoyed at it at that point. He would be like, dude, this lady really won't stop yelling at my car. But, you know, he would kind of say it with, like, that annoyed laugh where it's like, I wish she would stop, but at the same time, if I got annoyed with it, my day would be ruined, so I'm just going to laugh at it instead. Keep in mind, he didn't really do anything, as I said. He was just kind of doing his thing with his car that nobody else had a problem with, and she decided to turn it into World War III. But regardless, he would just kind of talk about how annoying it was, and, like, you know, he wished that he could just go to work without somebody yelling at him every day. He made jokes about, like, you know, the entire reason he wanted to be his own boss is so he wouldn't be getting screamed at 9 a.m., but here he was.
Tell me how my microphone sounds. Actually, it's pretty low.
Walking to the mail and whatnot. Over
sorry guys, my microphone.
Yeah, I had to turn up the volume a little bit. Me that, like, you know, he thinks he's gonna get a new car.
Like I said,
he wants another
my
car.
friend
His wife said he can get another car, and I'm like, all right, dude, that's really awesome. Money. You know, he's really into American cars.
Oh my
so he went and he bought a new Jeep.
And my grandma picked it up. This was all when I was asleep because.
And you know, that's a pretty fast car. Whatever it is, I know it's loud and I know it's fast. Yeah. I can tell you that much because he was flexing it on me, telling me it was the coolest thing he's ever seen, and I rode in it, and sitting in the thing when it launched was great. You know, he ended up parking that one in the garage where the Hellcat used to be parked because he figured it was newer, it needed to be protected, it needed to be tucked away from the harsh elements of Nevada. Really, though, leaving your cars in the sun here basically just, like, cooks everything, even stuff that really shouldn't be cooked. Like, I mean, I know my parents used to have to replace the rubber on the car, like, every 2 years because it would just get so sun-rotted. But at that point, you know, he didn't know what to do with his Hellcat, so I guess he just decided to park it in the driveway, and I don't know if I would exactly sign off on that idea. I don't know if that's what I would call a well-thought-out decision. It's pretty ballsy to park a $70,000 car in your driveway. Driveway. I'm not saying that I live in a bad neighborhood, you know, I don't think that I do. I think I live in a pretty good place. That being said, it's not the type of place where I would necessarily want to leave a $70,000 car just chilling. I wouldn't ever do.
Scorching heat today. Stay cool out there.
Okay, well,
stop suffering with hot AC. Cool it yourself with AC Pro. In just 3 easy steps.
Don't care.
Personally, you know, but hey, I'm not my neighbor, so it's not my issue. I especially wouldn't do it if there was somebody that lived very close to me that had, like, kind of stated their hatred of that car. To me, that just kind of seems like setting yourself up to have something bad happen. But hey, whatever, dude. Everybody gets to make their life choices, much like the
I feel like I
car
should just think about how it's
American. We're American, we get free and park our cars in the driveway. Damn it, that's what we want to do. America, pew pew. And, you know, for about a week, everything is basically okay. He's driving his Hellcat to and from work just because, you know, he didn't want to put too many miles on his new car. And my neighbor obviously isn't very happy with that. But whatever, they have an argument and he says, do you want me to drive my other car instead? And she's like, yes. And he starts driving the Jeep to work instead. And obviously, it's loud. It's basically as loud, if not louder, you know. But for whatever reason, the Karen's like, that's better. I think she just kind of felt like she got a victory, so she was trying to take it. And everything's going all right. They kind of stopped getting yelled at for a little bit. And he's driving that for about another week, and then I guess he decides to take the Hellcat once just to make sure that everything's still going. Like, he wanted to drive it, keep the battery, all that good stuff. I don't know. I'm not the biggest car guy in the world, but I do know you're supposed to drive your cars every now and then to make sure that everything's working the way it's supposed to be working. So he takes it, and I guess Karen thought that he just would never drive the car he owns again. I don't know what really gave her that idea. Like, even if he got another car, obviously this car was going to get driven at some point. Even if he was going to sell it, it was going to turn on and leave at some point. She was going to hear it. And even if it was annoying her, it's not her right to tell him he can't drive it. But, like, regardless, even if in her mind, you know, he has to sell it now, like, it was gonna have to turn on. Well, she comes out, you know, screaming about how much noise it's making, and she thought that they had an understanding and a truce, and it's so absolute insane idea. And this time, they're kind of arguing back and forth, and she's like, well, I'm going to make sure that you can't move that car tomorrow. Do you understand? And they're kind of doing that back and forth while they're arguing, and he had kind of said some stupid stuff, so he kind of thinks that, like, she doesn't mean anything by that. Nothing actually is going to be done to the car. Obviously, no one would be dumb enough to say they're going to vandalize an expensive, like, $70,000 car and then do it. So he thinks it's weird, but whatever, he just kind of brushes it off. And, you know, at this point, me personally, just to be safe, I would have parked my car in the garage, but for whatever reason, he decides to park it in the driveway when he gets back from work, and he goes inside and he leaves it in the driveway. And the next morning, he goes to take the Hellcat to work just to, like, show her who's boss. You know, pretty petty situation, I'm not gonna lie. And the Karen had, like, moved her SUV to block him in. You know, she had parked her SUV so he couldn't get out. And he's annoyed, and he asked her to move it. And you would have thought that he asked for her soul, bro. He's like, are you kidding me, dude? This really seriously? Oh my gosh, there's nowhere for me to park. Keep in mind, her driveway is completely empty. Like, she was just looking for a convenient excuse. And he starts being like, look, I just need you to move it so I can leave. And she goes, no, I told you that you're not going to be able to move that car, so I'm not moving mine. And he goes, all right, well, I'm going to have to get you towed then. And she's like, all right, I dare you. I double dog dare you. And I guess, you know, out of everything that this Karen thought she was fantastic at, parking laws and knowing about, like, how they actually work definitely was not something she was strong in, because, believe it or not, if you block somebody's driveway, they can totally tow you away. Like, that's totally something that you're allowed to do. So at that point, he calls a tow truck, and before anyone calls him a jerk, you know, he did ask, he did give her a chance to move the car before he does it. He can't leave his house, you know, she said go ahead and tow it, and the tow truck comes and it tows away her SUV, you know, and literally nothing illegal about what he did, but it gets towed. Well, as they're setting up the tow truck, of course, Karen comes outside to be like, what's going on here? Are you kidding me? You can't move this car, like, it's allowed to be parked here. But instead of screaming at my neighbor, she's screaming at the tow truck guy now. I think she thought that, like, she could intimidate him into backing down, and then the car would have to stay where it was. And he just kind of starts doing his job. You know, I've watched a couple of the tow truck shows on TV. Not that that's realistic. I don't know anyone who actually drives them, but I feel like that's a job where they're pretty used to getting yelled at. Like, a tow truck driver has definitely been screamed at by a fair amount of people, and I don't really feel like that's a good person to, like, put your will out on, you know? The reason Karens win in, like, a Target is because they're usually screaming at a 16-year-old who wants his first job, who has, like, no work experience and has never been in this situation before. It's not because they're actually smart. So he just keeps going about his business, setting it up to get it towed. And her excuse is that the street is public property, right? And so therefore she should be able to park on public property and nothing is wrong with that, even though she's blocking the driveway. So she also says that, like, her brother's a lawyer, and so for that reason she's also allowed to park here. And I think, like, in Karen brain, she thought that because her brother was a lawyer and, like, worked in the legal system, that she got, like, a free parking pass to park anywhere, you know, where that laws just didn't really apply. And I don't really know how that's, like, that was gonna go in her head, but, you know, for some reason she thought that that was gonna get her out of trouble. I don't think that's how being related to a lawyer works. Excuse me, officer, this bank robbery is actually allowed. My cousin's an attorney, so you're gonna have to let this slide. I took 150 grand, but guess what? My cousin, the attorney, gets me out of this one. Like, that's not how it works. Anyways, there's just absolute chaos going on right now, and, you know, they're arguing back and forth, and she realizes she's not gonna go or win, so she leaves, and her SUV gets towed away. My neighbor goes to work, and the drama is over now, or at least should be. Like, everything should be chillaxed. Clearly, this Karen has met her match. She did not expect anyone to put their foot down this hard, but my neighbor is also very stubborn. I would venture to say he's a little bit of a male Karen. Dare I say a Darren? But for some reason, you know, an obvious one, just never being able to take an L in her life, she decides that that's not going to be the end of it. She's going to have to get her revenge. I don't know how you could be more drastic than trying to block somebody in their house and literally prevent them from leaving. But she manages to do it, bro. She manages to get way more extreme than just blocking somebody in. She wasn't kidding when she said that he wasn't going to move the car again. I guess somehow in Karen's mind, the only revenge suitable at that point would be ruining the car itself. You know, clearly that's the most logical conclusion to come to. He had me towed for blocking his driveway, so I better ruin the car. You know, that's just the way it should be. I'm Karen. If that's not the worst idea for revenge I've ever heard, I don't know why. Because, like, if you do get caught, which chances are you are, let's just be honest here, you're gonna have to pay for that, dude. And I don't want to be the one who has to pay for a $70,000 car. Call me crazy, but I feel like pranks are only really funny if it doesn't cost people an arm or a leg, literally or metaphorically. You know, let's not make anyone lose a real limb here either. That's just the only way that I think it's pretty funny. Other than that, you're just kind of mean if you do it. If you just decide to, like, roam around just making people lose a bunch of money for no reason. And one night while everybody's asleep, something happens. My neighbor, who has security cameras, Frank, you know, his security cameras are there. They are recording, and a masked person walks up into the driveway and spray paints over the camera. You know, and at that point, you can't really see what's happening anymore. This super mysterious masked person basically took things way too far. Whoever it was, we have no idea who this masked person was. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Absolutely no idea. Proceeded to, after the cameras got covered, pour sugar in the gas tank of this car. Along with that, you had to like break open the gas tank. It wasn't one that just kind of opened, so she had to have like broken that. So the alarm started going off, but that didn't prevent the masked person from pouring sugar into the gas tank. I know not all of you are like super car people, you know, I'm not the biggest car guy in the universe either, but I will tell you, I know for a fact that that is awful. That is really, really, really bad. Like, basically, once you do that, car no worky anymore unless you get a bunch of stuff repaired, a lot of very, very expensive stuff too. Like, it's not like you can just get an oil change at that point and it's new to go. Like, it's gonna cost a bunch of money, especially on a car like that. Obviously, the next day, this becomes super obvious to my neighbor because he goes to drive it. It won't turn on. It won't do anything. He goes, see that thing is broken, you know, and just basically is like, aw, crap. Somehow he had slept through the car alarm going off, which he had broken open, like that thing on the back of the car. I don't really remember hearing it either, but who knows, dude? Who knows? And at that point, you know, he doesn't know what's going on. All he knows is that someone's put sugar in his gas tank. As awful as it is, like, people have done that before as a quote-unquote problem people. So he goes to check the camera, and at that point, he sees somebody kind of walk up and cover the camera, so he calls the cops. And the cops are involved. They come and watch, and they're kind of looking at the fact that whoever this was, like, obviously wanted this car specifically because it didn't happen to anybody else. They had spray painted the cameras. Like, whoever this was very clearly targeting this car. And, you know, he asked if any of the neighbors have cameras, and basically every single person in this neighborhood has cameras, you know. I do, I know the people on the other side do, basically everybody does. And, you know, while obviously this mystery vandalism person was clearly very, very intelligent, you know, they brought a mask, they covered the cameras, they were really covering their tracks. They watched a lot of Law and Order before trying to get away with this one. They forgot that, you know, sometimes other people have cameras too, bro. Like, it doesn't just matter if you cover the ones at the house you're doing the bad thing out of. Everybody else also sees you doing it. You know I can be an idiot. Like, absolutely, I can be dumb. But when the cops come knocking on my door, I didn't think they were there for me, you know, I'm like, what's up? And they ask to see my footage, and I say yes, obviously, you know, so they see mine. I don't really know what they're looking for. I'm not with them when they're looking at it. They're just kind of like, I pull it up on my phone and let them scrub through it. They go to, you know, my other neighbors. They go to a couple other people and check all of theirs, and after theirs, I'm curious, so I start searching through the night before, and I can't believe this is what happened, bro. It's so stupid. It's so stupid. Clear as day, on my driveway camera, you see this Karen leave her house out of the front door, put the mask on, and then cross the street, alright? And once she crosses the street, my driveway cameras, none of my cameras can see her anymore. And, you know, that's all there is. You kind of see the flashing of the lights, like the light echoing off the houses. I know light doesn't echo. You guys know what I mean, like on the camera. And then, you know, this masked person goes back into Karen's house. Obviously, at that point, it's very, very apparent to everybody who had done it. You know, it doesn't take long for the police to crack the case. And how do you not notice that, Karen? Like, first of all, this was already pretty dumb. If you wanted to mask on, the bare minimum you could have done is worn the disguise the whole time. And B, you just shouldn't have done it. Like, huh? Obviously, it was well thought out enough to, like, spray paint the cameras. You know, you thought you were being some type of absolute genius, but you forgot the important part, of, you know, other people than just that guy have cameras. Seriously, like, if it was the year 2001 and security cameras were still super rare, then I get it. But, like, basically everyone and their mom has a Ring doorbell, you know? Or at least somebody in the neighborhood will see something on some type of camera, bro. I also love that, like, you know, she really did put the mask on outside of the house. Outside of the house. Like, come on. At least give yourself a chance to deny that it's you. But nope, they literally have footage of you putting on the disguise. If that isn't the most Scooby-Doo villain thing you've ever heard of, I don't know what is. Alright guys, I'm going to interrupt the video for just 1 second. On screen now is an Xbox gift card. For those of you that don't know, I give one of these away in every single video I post here on this channel. It's a way to say thank you to you guys for supporting me. For those of you that already do it, then, you know, this is for you. Thank you so much. You guys are absolute units. Take it if you got here. Amen. Amen. Roblox. But this plug right here is asking you guys to subscribe, press the notification button, you know, for those of you that haven't. And, yeah, on that note, I'll shut up and get back to the video. Thanks. Anyways, at that point, the police decide to go question her. You know, they hadn't talked to her yet. And apparently, within, like, 2 questions of them being like, do you know what happened? That's funny, because we think it's you. She cracked and she spills absolutely everything, bro. house. So it's not even like she had a good cover story. She just really expected that no one would come ask any questions. As if the neighbor would get in his car, it wouldn't work. He'd be like, oh no, rats, looks like my son accidentally spilled Coke in the gas tank, and that's why there's enough sugar to kill a full-grown elephant. YOLO. Anyways, like, honestly, she probably just thought it was going to be a harmless prank, you know, more of an annoyance than anything. But at that point, they kind of have this girl who's admitted, this woman, I guess I should say, admitted to ruining this car. So they go back to my other neighbor, Frank, and they're like, do you want to press charges? And this is where he was a way better person than me. Honestly, you total, like, my $70,000 car, not that I have one, and, you know, I'm definitely going to want to be, like, sending you to some type of punishment. Not jail, you know. I'm going to want you to pay me back more than anything, I guess. But he decides, like, he's not going to press charges as long as they agree to replace it. And at this point, and Karen and her family don't really have a choice. The options are either accept the car, replace the car, or, you know, she's out of here. And they agree to get him a new car with no sugar in the gas tank. Not that they have much of a choice at that point. Like, they either have to get him a new car or she goes to jail. I can't imagine how that conversation must have gone down, bro. Like, all right, sit down, honey. You know, I made a $75,000 mistake, but everything's gonna be okay. Like, literally tried to go Ninja Karen with a mask, spray paint security cameras, you know, tiptoe across the street as if no one was gonna see her. Literally tried to have a Mission Impossible moment, and then ended up costing your family 75 bandos. I feel like, honestly, the towing should have been the end of it. You should have given it up there, but, you know, no. She had to treat it like a side mission in GTA and just take things way too far. Life isn't a video game, Karen. You get in trouble when you do things like this. Regardless, they agree to get him a new car. You know, it's not cheap, but it's better than jail, especially because we all know Karen wouldn't do good in jail, bro. You know, I feel like every Karen has the solution that they do really well in prison. They'd run the yard until they get there and, like, one mean person looks at them weird and they're like, get me out of here, I regret everything. And it's like, yeah, you're not running the yard now. The best part of it is that the neighborhood wasn't necessarily on her side either. Like, she really thought, you know, somehow that everyone was going to be on her side. But regardless of whatever she thought, people actually like to sleep knowing that their cars are safe in the driveway. Not that, like, Ninja Karen's going to come maybe sugar in the gas tank then because she doesn't like them. I'm pretty sure no one's really okay with just, like, bricking somebody's car. That's just something that's kind of been off limits in my opinion. Like, if somebody came to me like somebody's car on purpose, I'd be like, that's not very cool, dude. You know, maybe that's just me. Especially after our cameras were the one that proved it. I really don't know why she thought that everyone was just gonna, like, treat her normally, you know. And the neighborhood kind of shunned her after that. I wasn't really involved in that just because I don't really talk to many people anyways. But, you know, she ended up keeping to herself for a bit, trying to hold out, and, I would say about a week later, I went to check the mail, and sure enough, there's a for sale sign in the house that she's used to live in, still lives in. I don't know, I haven't seen them. I don't know if they left or if they're waiting for the house to sell or what, but for whatever reason, the house is for sale now. I don't know if that's because she wants to move or what the dealio and the bealio is, but either way, they won't be living here for long. Karens, I guess, are just prone to moving out of shame for these things. They don't care. They're just like, ayo, whatever I can do to just send it, I guess I'm gonna do. Knowing her reign of breaking cars in the neighborhood definitely has made everybody feel a little bit more relaxed. I definitely like sleeping knowing that nothing weird's gonna happen. Moral of the story, I guess, is don't try to ruin a car unless you want to have to move your entire family when you have kids. Yeah, that's the moral of the story. You know, great morals here on the channel. Anyways, that's the update that I'm hoping you guys enjoyed. Hopefully it was about what you guys were expecting. You know, if you did like it, I would really appreciate you pressing the like button and commenting the word Karen down below just so I know that you guys enjoyed it. I put some time into it, you know. I really tried to make it detailed and long. If you like stuff like this, definitely subscribe, turn on notifications so you never miss another video. You can check out the Spotify link in the description if you want to listen to Spotify story times on the go.
Selling your car should be fast and easy. Say hello to Express Cash Offer.
No.
We've designed a whole new way to sell your car.
Say hello to this. No.
What's going on, guys? It's your boy Scrub here, back again with another video. Hope you guys are all having an absolutely fantastic day. I know I am. If you are, be sure to press the like button. Otherwise, no joke, no scam. Your closest female friend will start to date a Kyle. Yeah, that's right. If you press the like button, you will save them from having to actually date a Kyle. And trust me, you don't want anyone to date a Kyle. Now, as you guys can tell from the title and thumbnail, today I'm going to be telling you guys about my experiences with a person named Kyle. I have a lot of experience with a person named Kyle, so if you guys like these videos, I can do more. But a very important thing that I need to say, okay? I don't hate you if your name happens to be Kyle. I want to make that very clear. I don't want you guys going around, like, making fun of people for having the name Kyle. Because I feel like the name Kyle isn't what's bad. It's the culture of Kyle that is needing some work. I don't know if you guys agree with me here, but I feel like I've met some Kyles that are pretty chill. Like a Kyle that could be like, yes, I invest my money in an S&P 500 fund in order to be smart with my finances.
That makes
but I'm
everything
talking
better.
today about the Kyles that are, well, Kyle. You know, the Kyle that walks up with a Monster Energy tattoo on his forehead. The Kyle that slam dunks on his grandma while drinking an energy drink. The Kyle who rides his motorcycle to school, does donuts in the parking lot, and runs over the dean's shoes is to teach him a lesson about disrespect. The Kyle that we're going to be talking about today, ladies and gentlemen, is a Kyle. So if your name is Kyle and you're not chugging Monster Energy and punching drywall, then you're pretty okay. This isn't about you. But as for everybody else out there that is a Kyle, I got a news flash, man. You shouldn't trust a Kyle. The second you see a Kyle drinking Monster Energy, you know they're too far gone. You can't trust them anymore. You have to immediately shun them. And yeah, you're gonna figure out why. So without further ado, let's get into it. Now, to truly understand the situation of Kyle, I gotta paint a picture for you guys, all right? I was a junior in high school, really doing my best out here to be the best student I could be. That's a lie. I was a really bad student, but nonetheless, whenever we got like a group project or anything, I would take it pretty seriously because I just, you know, when
Nope.
what's going on, guys? It's your boy Scrubby here, back again with another video. Hope you guys are all having an absolutely fantastic day. I know I am. If you are, be sure to press the like button. Otherwise, no joke, no scam. You'll never be able to fly. Yeah, that's right. I talked to my man Superman, and he said if you press the like button, you'll actually be able to fly. Test it out. Press the like button for yourself, and you know, if you start flying, you know who to thank. Anyways, guys, it's your boy Scrubby here, and as you can tell from the title, today I'm going to be telling you guys the story of the time I accidentally made a gang of weeaboos be my #1 enemy. All right, I don't really know exactly how the beginning of this went down. All I know is that one day I was chilling, and next thing I know, a gang of weeaboos had me cornered, trying to make me kung fu fight them like I was Po in Kung Fu Panda, alright? And I don't know how many of you guys have seen me. If you want to know what I look like, you can head over to my Instagram @Scrubby and take a peek. But I am definitely not a Kung Fu master, but regardless, I know it's going to be a story that you guys are going to find entertaining, so that's what we're going to be doing today. And yeah, without further ado, let's get right into it. So in my high school, there were just gangs of weird kids always roaming around the halls. As you guys know, I've told a lot of stories about the group of emo kids that would always try to, like...
I forgot my own Instagram. My Instagram is Tubbs124375 because I tried doing Tubbs1243. It didn't work because you have to be 12 and I'm under the age 12. But anyways, yeah, it's Tubbs124375. Let me see that. Then TUBBS124375. I also have a Twitter, but I don't want people following my Twitter. It's dumb.
Start stuff with us in class, or there was a group of kids who thought they were werewolves, but the most dangerous group of all was the weeaboos. And the reason that these kids were so dangerous is because I'm convinced these kids actually thought that they lived in an anime, alright? Like, these were the type of kids, if a teacher said their assignment was late, they'd be like, you thought that you've outsmarted me, but truly it was you that have been outsmarted. I challenge you to combat, Mr. Pemberton. We must fight now, to the death. Like, those were the type of kids that these kids would pretend they'd be. They actually thought they were living in an anime. Some of them would come to school in cosplay. I remember there was a subset of the anime kids that would wear school uniforms to school just because kids in anime would wear uniforms. Like, imagine your school not making you wear uniforms and you go, nah,
so
people in anime wear uniforms though, and they would just match every day. It was a really weird world. And for the most part, the kids kept to themselves outside of arguing with the teachers every now and then. There were enough weeaboos where they were kind of contained, and you didn't have to deal with the cringe at any given moment. But one of my favorite skills, one of the things that I'm best at is you know, talking crap. I'm not gonna lie, I've got a big mouth, I tend to get myself in trouble with it. And regardless, weeaboos aren't exactly scarily intimidating, okay? Yes, they might try to threaten to fight a teacher over a homework assignment, but for the most part, they're not actually going to do anything because they're all 5'4" white kids that grew up in the suburbs and aren't actually intimidating at all. Like, if these kids started
white kids who grew up in the suburbs.
The guy's like swinging around his sword, Indiana Jones just ends it in 1 second. Like, I feel like that's what these kids would be like, okay? They get in a karate stance and be like, haha, you thought you had outsmarted me, but today, and then you punch them in the face and they just start crying and be like, I was not prepared for combat at this level, ah, like that's the type of kids that these people are. But regardless, you know, most of these kids were pretty wimpy, and so everybody would make jokes every now and then. And I had a class with an unusually large weeaboo population. I had a class I was in art, which for some reason attracted weeaboos. I don't know what it is about art, but basically every other kid in the class, I swear, had Naruto headbands tattooed on their forehead and thought it was a good idea, alright? Trust me, Naruto can be pretty cool, but you shouldn't get the headband tattooed on your forehead. What if it's cold? Then you're just sweating into a headband for no reason. But regardless, in my art class, there was an unusually large amount of weeaboos. And I had a class, a friend in my class who, you know, me and him would talk and goof off and have ourselves a good time. And one day, I was sitting in art class and I started making jokes about weeaboos. I started doing the anime voice like, haha, you thought you'd outsmarted me, but I go to a school in the suburbs. Ahaha, I have learned the way of the Kung Fu Master. Like, I was just kind of making fun of them doing the anime announcement voice, just goofing off, and I didn't think anyone was going to take offense, okay? Because one thing that I think is important, you have to be able to get made fun of, alright? Like, if someone's making fun of me, oh, haha, Scrubby's an idiot because he makes story times every day, you gotta just take it on the chin. People aren't always going to like you, and that's okay. And it wasn't like I was saying that weeaboos need to, you know, be banned from the school or anything. I was just making fun of the fact that they think that they live in an anime. And I thought I was being relatively quiet. I thought my friend was really the only one that could hear me, but he started laughing really loud, which of course got the attention of all the other weeaboos in class. And because I was making fun of them doing the anime announcement voice, I guess they had a team meeting after school, okay? Like, all the weeaboos got together and decided that this season on their anime, they were gonna have to fight the evil villain Ryan from their art class who was making fun of their anime lifestyle. Like, I don't really know what the plan was, but the next day I walk into school and I go to put my backpack in my locker, and there's a note on my locker written in, like, not Japanese, but a very flowy English. Like, it looked like somebody was trying to do the Japanese letters, but make it so that it could still be read in English. And it basically says, we know that you are our enemy, or something, like some really overdramatic thing. And listen, for any weeaboos watching this, I wasn't your enemy. I really, 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 really don't care. Like, if you watch anime, that's cool. You guys are a little cringy sometimes. You know, wearing school uniforms to match with your favorite anime is a little weird. I'm sorry. Like, if that's offensive, then hey, I guess I'm really offensive. But regardless, apparently I am their enemy.
It's also
okay?
still
They
work in progress.
my locker.
Stop. Get.
So I grab it and I'm kind of like, that's weird. I don't even know which person I'm an enemy of at this point, okay? Because being realistic, someone leaves a note on your locker, I am the enemy. Regardless of if in retrospect it looks like fancy Japanese, I wasn't exactly looking around like, who is my enemy? I thought it was like one of my friends messing with me. So whatever, I go about my day, I don't respond to the note, I just crumple it up and like throw it in the trash can. I don't think anything of it, right? And by the time lunch comes around, I've completely forgotten that there was a note on my locker in the first place. Sorry, all you anime kids out there, but I wasn't exactly sitting there like shaking in my seat. Who am I? Who have I made angry? Who is my enemy? Who's going to try to do my Shippuden? I don't know. All I know is that I made someone angry. Someone with a power level above 3,000. Like, I was not very worried about it, all right? Not for one moment during the day was I sweating at all. But regardless, I'm sitting there at lunch, just minding my own business, munching on some solid pizza, all right? I don't know what it is about school cafeteria pizza, but it was actually good. And if that makes you guys hate me, I totally understand, because I know that's a very unpopular opinion, but it is my opinion, and I can't lie to you guys. So I'm sitting there munching on my pizza, minding my own business, really getting carried away in the way the cheese accents the pizza sauce, right? And then I feel this, like, presence behind me. I don't know if you guys have ever, like, had someone just stare you down for an extended period of time, but if you have, then you know exactly what I'm talking about. You just, like, feel something staring at you. So I'm kind of like, wow, that's weird. And I look over, and about 4 tables away is where all the weeaboos sat. They had about 2 tables. And I'm not even kidding you, every beady-eyed anime addict was just sitting there staring at me. And I'm like, wow, this is a little bit bizarre. This is not a normal day. And I didn't really think they were staring at me, so I started looking around. And every time I'm, like, trying to figure out what they're staring at, I'm like, they might be staring at me. So after staring at me for a little bit, I just kind of started like gesturing at them. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I may have thrown up a middle finger or two, but I was just trying to get them to stop staring. Have you guys ever tried to eat with somebody staring at you? It's like they're looking into your soul. All right, I don't want anyone watching me munch on anything, because munching is a very private part of my life. I munch when I'm in the shower. I munch when I'm, going to bed. I just like to eat, okay? I do. I like to eat. And if you're gonna stare at me while I eat, I'm not a fan of that, all right? This is private. This is personal time. That's like looking at somebody in the shower. Eating is a personal thing. It's not really, it's not that deep, but like people staring at you is just weird, especially when you don't know them and it's a bunch of anime kids that are looking at you like you actually just burned all of Japan to the ground. So they continue staring at me and I keep gesturing at them, and finally the leader weeaboo, who I can only describe as a chubby version of Naruto. Like if Naruto weighed a solid 600 pounds and wore a headband, that would be pretty accurate compared to what this guy looks like. Gets up and starts walking over to me, and I'm not even kidding you, is wearing a real Naruto headband in school. Like, what was like, what should I wear to high school today? How about a Naruto headband? Which, whatever. If you like Naruto, I ain't pressed. But it's a little weird to be like wearing that in school. So 600-pound Naruto, who I will now refer to from this point forward as Obese Anime, walks up to me and just like walks up behind my chair and says, "So I've heard that you have a problem with us." And I'm like, "Dog, what are you talking about?" And he says, "Well, yesterday in art class you were making fun of anime. Like, do you think it's funny to make fun of things that people like?" And at this point, I probably should have just been like, "No, yeah, I'm sorry." But I did the opposite because I have a problem keeping my mouth shut. And I go, "Well, I mean, if you guys act cringy and are being cringy, then yeah, I think it's pretty okay to like make fun of it. If you like it, but you're being cringy, then sometimes you just." You gotta get made fun of a little bit, which I guess really set this guy off, because the next thing out of his mouth might have been the cringiest culmination of words that I've ever heard. He looks at me and goes, "I want you to understand that anime isn't just something that I like, okay? Anime is a lifestyle. I understand that you have an idea of Western culture in which cartoons are silly and for children, but anime is a way of life." And I want to make something very clear to people watching this video. If you like anime, good for you, bro. I really could not care less, alright? But if you start trying to claim that it's a way of life and it's not just like a show, you're delusional, alright? If somebody gets arrested by the cops for like selling things, alright, and they go, oh, well, I got it from Breaking Bad, and it's a way of life, so obviously it's not that big of a deal. Like, you're just dumb, alright? I'm not saying anime's not cool. You can like anime, but you cannot make fun of it, for it is a way of life. I have spent many years mastering the blade. Like, you're just cringy, bro. So, I can't take it seriously, and I start laughing, which sets off Obese Anime. And he walks away from my table very heftily, very angrily, just stomps his way back to the anime table, grabs like 2 or 3 more people, which aren't wearing Naruto headbands, sadly. I wish I could say that I got squared up upon by a group of people wearing Naruto headbands, only because I feel like it would increase my street creds. I might be actually able to go to downtown LA and join a gang based solely on the fact that I stared down a group of anime kids as they slowly approached me with Naruto headbands. But sadly, I can't. That's not what happened. And while that is depressing, what happens next is not as depressing because it's pretty comical. So he goes back and gets his boys, and I swear the Naruto gang walks over in slow motion and like tries to press me, and they go, "Oh, so you think you can just make fun of anime?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And the entire group starts telling me about how anime is a lifestyle. I've already told you guys, anime is not a lifestyle, alright? You know what's a lifestyle? Like, I don't know, living on the beach. Anime is not a lifestyle, but these kids are swearing up and down that I've disrespected their culture. None of you are Japanese, okay? I don't know what I'm disrespecting. I know that Clevin over here on the left was born in Cincinnati, Ohio. I don't think I said the Bengals were trash, bro, so I don't know how I'm really roasting your culture. But regardless, they're all trying to press me, saying that I was just bullying anime or whatever because I was making fun of it. And yeah, there are aspects of anime that are pretty easy to make fun of. That's not my fault, though. Like, don't sue me because it's easy to make fun of anime. So they start trying to press me, and they're like, "Oh, well, do you want to fight about it?" And I'm like, "Well, not really. I'm just trying to eat some pizza, bro. Come on. Like, I get it. You guys smell like body odor. You know, you have no girlfriends. Like, I understand why you would want to fight. You have nothing to lose. I've got stuff to lose, though, okay? Like, I'm not trying to throw down because things are negative if I get in trouble. Not so much for you guys. They're like, "Well, if you're going to disrespect us, then you have to get in combat stance." And then 3 of these weeaboo nerds get down into like a karate stance, okay? Like a combat stance. Except the only problem is it's not like they've ever actually taken any karate lessons and have learned how to fight. I would say their combat stance looked a little bit like You ever seen a baby that's pooped itself and its diaper's full, and it's like waddling around? It looked like a baby with a crappy diaper waddling around. That's what their combat stance looked like. And I can't take it seriously because obviously when a kid that's your age acts like he crapped himself and is like trying to press you, it's comical. It's funny. There's nothing I can do about the fact that it's a little bit entertaining. So I start laughing, which makes one of them. There was like 3 main ones, okay? There was the guy, 600-pound obese anime man that had pressed me in the first place, and he brought his 2 friends back. And his other friend does like a punch combo, except the way he does it, he like loses his balance and almost falls over. So I'm obviously shaking in my boots, very intimidated by the absolute presence of these units pressing me for making fun of anime. Like, these guys are obviously so much cooler than I will ever be in my entire life. Their swag is on 1 million and my swag is on like 7, all right? And that's not good. I need more swag to compete with these guys. So I laugh after his little display of kung fu-ery, and at this point it is starting to get a little bit of a crowd because it's not every day you see Derek the anime nerd trying to press someone with karate moves. So the lunchroom is kind of gathering around us because they also think there's about to be a fight. So they're still doing their karate display, and I'm like, dog, I'm not going to fight you in the lunchroom. I'm not getting suspended fighting these anime kids. So as they keep pressing me in their karate stance, the teachers come over, the deans come over, and they're like, you guys have to break it up. I can't believe you were about to fight. And the anime kids are like, you were lucky. I respect authority. It is one of the main mainstays of Kung Fu. And I'm like, dog, the dean just told us not to fight. Don't pretend that this is a Shaolin monk, Master Splinter out here from the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles telling you not to square up, all right? If you wanted to fight, you could fight. The dean isn't really that much in charge of you. But whatever, anime kids. So they give me this look and they say, we'll handle this later. And I'm like, yeah, what later, bro? I don't know what later you're going to be talking about. Come to find out, there is going to be a later, but this video is already nearing 15 minutes, so I guess I'm going to do a part 2.
It's nice to know your blind spot can be protected. Blind spot monitor, standard on all 2021 Volkswagen SUVs, unlike all Honda or Subaru SUVs. Come into your Volkswagen today and get 0% APR financing for 36 months.
What's going on, guys? It's your boy Scrub here, back again with another video. Hope you guys are all having an absolutely incredible day. I know I am. And if you are, you should press the like button, or otherwise, no joke, no scam. You'll never be able to wash your toes again. Yeah, that's right. If you don't press the like button, then the foot genie is going to come and make it so your toes will get incredibly stinky, and you don't want that. Anyways, guys, as you can tell from the title of today's video, we're going to be continuing the story that I was telling last time, all right? For those of you guys who didn't see the first part, a link will be in the description. But basically, I made some emo kids very upset, and they decided to press me in the lunchroom, but the fight was broken up, thankfully, by a brave stranger who came in and saved my life. But that wasn't the end, because apparently these emo kids were so mad, they were like, then we'll take the combat outside of the school. And this part 2 is going to be a little long and complicated, so buckle your seatbelt, and without further ado, let's get into it. So a little bit of a recap. Basically, one day in my art class, which is filled with weeaboos, I made a joke about how the anime community is a little cringe, and those kids got super mad and tried to fight me in the lunchroom. And I thought that was going to be the end of it, okay? After the lunchroom incident, I was like, dang, these kids are going to realize that maybe trying to fight me for no reason is a really bad idea, and they're not going to mess with me anymore. And they didn't mess with me at school, okay? The anime incident happened on a Wednesday, and for the rest of the week until Friday, there was no sweat. There was really nothing going on. There was nothing that was making me think that these anime kids were about to start jumping out of the trees like Japanese surprise attacks and trying to drop bombs on me, okay? Because surprisingly, when someone leaves you alone for 2 days, you're not like, yes, they are plotting my eventual destruction. You're like, dang, these kids are probably going to try to leave me alone. And I wish that's what happened, but as you can tell, it's about to get complicated. And before I had a car and could drive, I had to walk to school. I lived relatively close to my school, so after school I would have to walk past the buses, and it was probably a 5-minute walk to get from my last class back across the street into my neighborhood so I could actually get home. And for the most part, you know, I really didn't think that anyone was ever gonna like follow me home or anything, because that would be weird. It's not every day you're like, that group of anime kids wearing Naruto headbands looks creepily following me. Maybe they're gonna follow me to my house and then challenge me to combat in the driveway. That's just not something you really expect to happen. So whenever I would walk home, I wasn't very conscious of like who was behind me or who was following me, because it's just not something I think about on a daily basis, is who's going to try to follow me home. Call me crazy, it just never really crossed my mind. Plus, I would look really paranoid if that did cross that line. Like, imagine if I started the story. So, basically, I think people are perennially trying to stalk me, and so I'm always looking over my shoulder because I'm super paranoid. In fact, whenever I see a cop car, I drive full speed and crash into it just to make sure that they're not following me anymore. So on Friday, I start walking home, and I get across the street. I'm about halfway back to my house, and I turn around, and you know that scene in The Lion King where like it's the herd of wildebeest, you know, charging, and he's like, Dad, like that's how I feel. Because when I look back, I'm not even kidding you. It looks like I'm at a Comic-Con in a small Midwestern town, because it is just a bunch of chubby anime kids slowly marching towards me with the beat of a drum. I'm pretty sure I saw one of them Naruto running to keep the pack together. All right, like I turn around and I see this, and call me crazy here. It's not every day that there's an anime convention in the middle of my suburban neighborhood. Okay, like this is not a really common occurrence where anime kids are just booing in my neighborhood like, yo guys, you trying to hang out and chill? Like, haha, let's all hang out and have a good time on the middle of the street near where Ryan lives. Like that just doesn't happen. So I get a little freaked out because I did have the altercation with them in the lunchroom a little bit earlier, but I'm kind of like, maybe they're going to someone else's house. Maybe one of the anime kids lives near me. It's not that big of a deal. So I start taking another path home. I start to do the zigzags, because I saw one time on a podcast that if you take 4 right turns and people are still following you, then you know they're following you because you went in a circle. So I do the strategy, and I basically go in a big loop around my neighborhood and then like back towards my house, and they're still following me. So at this point, I am confirming that I have a weeaboo pack on my tail, which is guaranteed to basically follow me until I either do one of 2 things: stop walking, and they can slowly eat me alive like a bunch of zombies, or, and hear me out here, I disappear, and I have my Harry Potter invisibility cloak ready at all times. That's a joke. I can't go invisible, surprisingly. I wish I could. That would be super sick, but if you subscribe, you can turn invisible. I've tried it. So, during all this, when I'm realizing that these kids are following me and I'm doing this giant loop, I started texting some of my friends, and I'm like, hey, can you guys meet me at my house? I have a group of weeaboos that are following me. And thankfully, I do have a group of good friends, because when I'm starting to go down my street and I can see my house, I see Grant and our other friend's car parked outside, and there's about 6 kids just standing there in my driveway, because I warned them that I have a pack of wild weeaboos that are hunting me down. And I'm not even kidding you. These weeaboos were like a wolf pack, okay? Like, they were howling. At one point, I'm pretty sure I saw one of them blink, but it was the lizard eyes, like Mark Zuckerberg. Like, the lizard people are real and they are weeaboos, everyone. Be very careful. So I start walking towards my house, and I realize that I have about 8 friends standing in the driveway, right? Like around 8, 6, 7, 8, somewhere in that range. I don't remember exactly how big my team was. And there's about 14 weeaboos, so we're still outnumbered, all right? Going to be a good situation if 8 of your best friends show up and you're still outnumbered 2 to 1. Like, this just doesn't seem like good odds. So I start walking towards my house, and as I get closer to my house and I cross the street and go into my driveway, the weeaboos suddenly pick up speed. And I don't know if they were trying to be comical, if they were trying to catch me off guard, and they're like, we're going to challenge him to combat and make him giggle first. But I'm not even kidding you. Have you ever seen 15 teenagers in Naruto headbands, Naruto running down the street towards your house? Because I have. I don't know what they thought was like cool about that. It wasn't very intimidating. At no point was I like, wow, see the way they Naruto run, Grant? That's impressive. I don't know if we should fight them. Like, I don't know what they were going for, but they were Naruto running down the street towards me when I stepped into my driveway. And they pull up, and the chubby kid from the lunchroom,
that's what they do in anime, so they think they're living in anime.
Like, steps forward, and all the Naruto kids are like in a little group, you know, talking, whispering, laughing, and he steps forward and he goes, so, you ready to actually throw down now? And I'm like, dog, listen. We almost fought on Wednesday, bro. It's Friday. That means that you went home for 3 days. And while you were home for those 3 days, instead of doing your homework, instead of playing Xbox, instead of watching anime, you went, damn, I really hate that Ryan kid, and thought about getting your masterful army of weeaboo kids to come to my house. And also, how did you even know that I walked home? Like, how did you do that, right? And I asked him, how did you know? And he says, we've been watching you for 2 days, which is very creepy. No one wants to hear that a sumo wrestler who's not actually from Japan, addicted to anime, has been watching them for 2 days. I felt violated. I felt as if though my privacy, everything that I had ever built in my life, was now under attack, because this man had been watching me for a very long period of time. Long enough to know that I walk home, and long enough to organize 14 kids to follow me home, alright? Do you understand how much coordination that takes? I can't even get people to text me back in my group projects when I was in high school. And this man managed to build half an army to come square up with me in the middle of my driveway. So there we are in the driveway, trying to be some savages, and then Grant, being the good friend he is, goes, well, if you guys really want to throw down, you're going to have to throw down with all of us. And at this point, I'm pretty sure I'm actually living in an anime, okay? I don't know if you've ever heard a group of friends be like, haha, if you mess with one of us, then you mess with all of us. Ha ha ha. But I'm pretty sure that's what Grant was doing. We were actually in a live episode of Naruto. And my parents weren't going to be home for like another hour or two. So I was like, well, I mean, if we are going to throw down, now's the time to do it. And I'm not even kidding you. When the anime kids got the chance to throw down, I don't think I've ever seen them, like, be more excited in their entire life. They were like, finally, all these rec center karate classes I've been taking since I was 8 are going to come in handy. All the time I spent watching Naruto for combat is going to come in handy. And I'm not even kidding you, bro. The chubby kid with the Naruto headband with the glasses on looks down, looks up, pushes up his glasses and says, gladly. Like, it was the most anime thing I've ever seen, alright?
I'd be
Don't
like
get me
that.
wrong, anime can be super dope, especially in that moment. Because as cringy as it was also freaking cool, okay? Like, I'm not even gonna lie, being in a movie fight scene has always been a goal of mine in life. Like, that's something I've always wanted to do. Don't ask me why, I'm a little bit weird, but just something about like, dun, 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 gladly. Pushing up the glasses and then just going to fist-to-fist combat to try to murder each other. Turn up, bro. Like, if you're medicated, if you're not medicated, shout out mental illness, you know what I mean? Jesus is the one. Also, sorry if my voice is sounding a little bit weird. I am a little sick. It's no reason. Also, comment down below if you know what song I just sang, because I don't know, it's a good song and I hope people know what it is. But regardless, when he says, "Cha-cha," gladly, they all take a step forward and get in, like, their weird, like, ninja combat stance. And the one thing you have to understand is, while me and Grant may not be fighters, we have a group of friends that is very known for mischief. I tend to get into the type of mischief where I'm pranking people and, you know, I might steal a candy bar or two, but nothing too crazy. That was the type of mischief that I was into. And, you know, Grant wasn't really into mischief. He was a good kid, didn't get in trouble a lot. But we had friends that, you know, have been arrested and just genuinely like to throw down. You know what I mean? And when this starts going down, basically it's 14 anime kids versus 8 people fighting. I don't remember exactly how it started. I don't know who swung first or what. But the next thing I know, there was a flurry of combat going on. You know that, like, in Super Smash Bros, when you turn on all the bots at once and there's like 9 people fighting each other in one Super Smash Bros stage? I'm pretty sure that's what's going on. I'm not a big fighter. I'm not a giant guy. I'm fighting some weeaboos. Weeaboos are fighting other people. Grant's fighting a weeaboo. I look back. Someone has picked up a skateboard and is swinging in circles like he's going to take off like a helicopter. It's a wild situation. There's a fight going on. I don't remember much of the fight, much details. All I know is that the fight's probably going for a minute or two, and then my neighbor, who is an old man, probably 78 years old, comes out and just starts yelling at us from across the street and goes, break it up, break it up, break it up. But if you've ever tried to break up a fight before, especially with that many people, it's not too easy. A 78-year-old man yelling, back in Nam, we used to fight with each other like this, isn't gonna, like, do anything. No one's actually listening to it. So this poor old man who's trying to break up all these kids fighting is not doing a very good job. Not for lack of trying. He was...
Wait, does this have batteries? No. I'm sorry for keeping all you guys waiting now. There's one put no. Oh wait, that's what my phone. I had my bad, guys. My bad. I'm gonna have to switch it from my Switch to Netflix. Don't care. I want to watch Naruto. I want to listen to some Naruto and watch at the same time Netflix. Review Naruto. Sasuke. Sakura. Naruto.
Right. I stretched my shadow out along the line of that thread and followed it all the way back.
There you
now
go.
I'm attached to you.
And now, so we mirror each other's movements, so what? A cute trick, but what do you gain by it?
Man, you're annoying. Shut up and watch.
You must be insane!
You must be insane!
Throw that shuriken at me! Don't just be attacking yourself!
Makes it kind of interesting, doesn't it?
You wouldn't. You couldn't.
Yeah, like a game of chicken. Let's see who ducks first.
You're crazy. Big deal. I'll do that too.
And that's what I call using your head. The wise shinobi carefully scouts the physical layout of the battlefield and never loses sight of his position on it. That was her problem. I made sure she was so busy focusing on me, she didn't notice the wall inches behind her head. So when we both dodged backwards, kabong! Now who's hearing bells?
Winner of the 6th match, Shikamaru no.
Wow.
Yeah, way to go! Come on, me next, me!
Even a good-for-nothing leggy ball on his match. When am I gonna get my turn?
Now there's only me left.
All right. Moving on to the next match.
There's one Sound Village ninja left. There's me, you, Naruto, Choji, Neji, Lee, and that Sand Village guy. Just don't put me up against him. That's all I ask.
Who is this guy?
This year's
No.
will be quite a challenge.
Are you guys seeing this? Is this one of my friends?
Yeah, it's here at last. The moment I've been waiting for. Finally, I get a chance to show what I've got.
Look at that! It's us against the kid! Hey, Akamaru, I think you and I just won the lottery. I am very tired of old age before I get my turn. I just want a chance to show Sakura what I am made of. She's waiting.
Sakura's like,
There's a chance. He's just like God used to be.
Good luck, Naruto. Do your best.
no, the last year's not over, but
It's your moment.
it's just the way I do this. I don't like kick people.
Show us how much you've grown.
It's my turn to shine.
Oh, fuck. What did I put Fortnite?
Akamaru unleashed. Who's top dog now?
Whoop.
Now the 7th match. Naruto Uzumaki and Kiba Inuzuka.
So illegal. I can trouble my mom. Oh, you? Fine. I'll clip.
Don't take it personally if I blow you away.
That's just what I was gonna say. Only not so politely. Akamaru.
What?
Oh yeah, well talking's easy. Let's see what you got to say at the end of the match.
Let's see what you have to say at the end of the match. Shut your phone!
Wait a second, are you kidding me? What's the puppy doing here? He's just gonna get in the way.
Deal with it. I never go into battle without Akamaru.
Well, thank you all for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, show this to everyone you know. Goodbye.
Something?
No. Like Shino's buds, they are a part of him. He is within